Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Morning Brews. My name, of course, is Ryan Smelt, and today we're talking about planning a new business. So, for those of you who don't know, I have another show, Veteran Talk Show, and under Business and Brews and the Veteran Talk Show, my co-host and I are basically planning a new business. So, we're going to put both shows, both podcasts, under one umbrella. You'll notice that when you head over to the business and website for other episodes, show notes. But I wanted to touch today on planning a new business because not only do I feel like it's important and relevant, obviously, to what we talk about on this show, but I also believe that you will get to kind of take a peek under the hood at what we're doing there. Getting everything around, figuring out how we want to structure it, what we want the overall mission to be, and how we want the final product to look to you, our audience. And so I want to get into a little bit of that. Especially today, planning a new business, we're going to be talking about three things. Number one, the mission or goal. Number two, format and outline. And number three, the naming process. So, number one, the mission or goal. Basically, Joe and I sat down. He took a wipe off board and a marker, and we started to go over what we wanted our overall goal and mission to be for the media umbrella that will encompass both business and better talk show. So we know what we want to focus on with each of these individual shows. The main thing that kept coming up is what we want the mission to be for the company in general. And essentially, we want it to be able to kind of compass and develop resources not just for business owners, but also for veterans, and be able to provide those resources and have them easily accessible for business owners and for so we really want to build an audience that is not just business owners but also veterans. We have noticed a strong correlation between the people who listen to each of the shows, as plenty of them are veterans and business owners as well. I started to see a lot of crossover in the guests that I would have on, as many of them were veterans who got out and became business owners. You can see that with Kurt Balish of Balish Woodworks, Matt Camp of Bare Knuckle Ranch. Both of them, Kurt was in the Army, and Matt was Marine. So I just wanted to center the focus of the company, and we wanted to make sure bring all of those resources, put them in one place, obviously the website where a lot of this is going to live, but also put both shows underneath that one umbrella. So that's kind of our mission, is to bring veterans and business owners together, make it easier for them, as well as providing resources to veterans who may help in certain times. Make sure to put them in touch with people like Rick Johnson, Jim Johnson on the Veteran Talk Show. We actually had him as a guest on as well. So just being able to connect all of those people with those types of resources. So moving on to the format and outline, basically for the show, for the Veteran Talk Show, we are making a bit of a transition. taking it from the standard long form where we usually have guests and talk to them for 3 or 4 hours. Now we are going to turn it into a little bit more of a structured show. So we basically typed out an outline and held a conversation we actually yesterday on what we want to talk about and um, some sub bullets under those points. Very very similar to how I do this show. Basically, bullet point number one. For example, I can't remember, but I believe the first episode we're going to be doing topics that fall underneath politics, and so come up with sub bullet points under there. Politics, like talking social politics, might be talking economic politics, policies that affect both of those things. So we're going to do a little bit of research and make sure that we have, make sure we're prepared as we approach those recordings to be able to discuss that stuff. And Joe is going to be redoing the layout of the room where we record as well. So hopefully it'll look good. You guys will enjoy the content, but most importantly, making that transition from having a guest to not having a guest, making sure that we kind of have those topics outlined. I think it's one of those things where we're not opposed to having a guest, but we're going to be very strategic about who the guest is and when we have them on based on the format of the show. And I think that outline that I talked about can help us stay on track, stay focused, and maintain a target that can put everything together, hopefully get better content for everyone. And I think next I want to move into talking about naming. So this, excuse me, is definitely something that sounds pretty simple. And when it comes to business and brews, and then I decided to do this segment, which is Morning Brews, and just started a new segment on the Veteran Talk Show that is war stories. It sounds pretty simple, but when it comes to naming something that is going to have a website or require a website, I think it's important to make sure that the URL or the domain lines up as closely as possible with the name of whatever it is. So basically, we just head over to GoDaddy and start punching stuff in. So we are still working on naming. We've rolled around things such as BTS Media, BTS Productions, still weighing our different options, so definitely open. If you have any ideas on what we should call the new umbrella, new company, as it will have Business and Brews and the Veteran Talk Show underneath that one name. Obviously, we're not changing the names of any of our shows, but just making sure that they all live in a single domain so people can go very much like Wondery has Suspect and Business Wars and all different kinds of podcasts, but you can find them on one website. So one website where all of our shows live, and if you have any ideas, we're open to hearing that. So far, the ones we've come up with, either the domains are not available, or we would have to make some sort of change that would make it a little bit complicated. Personally, I don't really like having a domain name that is .online or .biz. Prefer to stick to standard .com. Make it super simple, but love to hear from you, hear what you have to say, hear what your ideas are, and that's all I have for you today. So, if you have gained any value from this whatsoever, please leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends to subscribe. You can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you have not heard our other episodes of Morning, be sure to go back and check those out as well. My name is Ryan Smeltz, and I will see you on tomorrow's episode of